Barchester Towers, Anthony Trollope. This audio reading of Barchester Towers is read by Andy Minter, Eva, Catherine Eastman, Cara Schellenberg, Kirsten Ferrari, Lucy Burgoyne, Anita Roy Dobbs, Jezine, Krithagar, Anna Samao. Contents 01. Who will be the new bishop? 0:20 and 25 seconds. Read by Andy Minter. 28811-01.mp3 28811-01.org 28811-01.m4b 28811-01.spx02 Hiram's Hospital. 0:20 and 30 seconds. Read by Eva. 28811-02.mp3 28811-02.org 28811-02.m4b 28811-02.spx03 Dr. and Mrs. Proudy. 0:16 and 27 seconds. Read by Andy Minter. 28811-03.mp3 28811-03.org 28811-03.m4b 28811-03.spx04 The Bishop's Chaplain. 0:19 and 55 seconds. Read by Catherine Eastman. 28811-04.mp3 28811-04.org 28811-04.m4b 28811-04.spx05 A Morning Visit. 0:21 and 44 seconds. Read by Cara Schellenberg. 28811-05.mp3 28811-05.org 28811-05.m4b 28811-05.spx06 War. 0:28 and 28 seconds. Read by Andy Minter. 28811-06.mp3 28811-06.org 28811-06.m4b 28811-06.spx07 The Dean and Chapter take counsel. 0:16 and 22 seconds. Read by Cara Schellenberg. 28811-07.mp3 28811-07.org 28811-07.m4b 28811-07.spx08 The Ex-Warden rejoices. 0:16 and 26 seconds. Read by Andy Minter. 28811-08.mp3 28811-08.org 28811-08.m4b 28811-08.spx09 The Stanhope Family. 0:33 and 32 seconds. Read by Cara Schellenberg. 28811-09.mp3 28811-09.org 28811-09.m4b 28811-09.spx10 Mrs. Proudy's reception commenced. 0:22 and 36 seconds. Read by Kirsten Ferrari. 28811-10.mp3 28811-10.org 28811-10.m4b 28811-10.spx11 Mrs. Proudy's reception concluded. 0:35 and 30 seconds. Read by Kara Schellenberg 28811-11.mp3 28811-11.og 28811-11.m4b 28811-11.spx12, Slope vs Harding, 0:18 and 6 seconds. Read by Andy Minter 28811-12.mp3 28811-12.og 28811-12.m4b 28811-12.spx13, The Rubbish Cart, 0:23 and 58 seconds. Read by Lucy Burgoyne 28811-13.mp3 28811-13.og 28811-13.m4b 28811-13.spx14, The New Champion, 0:16 and 40 seconds. Read by Andy Minter 28811-14.mp3 28811-14.og 28811-14.m4b 28811-14.spx15, The Widow's Suitors, 0:32 and 36 seconds. Read by Eva 28811-15.mp3 28811-15.og 28811-15.m4b 28811-15.spx16, Baby Worship, 0:30 and 23 seconds. Read by Anita Roydobs 28811-16.mp3 28811-16.og 28811-16.m4b 28811-16.spx17, Who Shall Be Cock of the Walk, 0:22 and 18 seconds. Read by Eva 28811-17.mp3 28811-17.og 28811-17.m4b 28811-17.spx18, The Widow's Persecution, 0:18 and 41 seconds. Read by Andy Minter 28811-18.mp3 28811-18.og 28811-18.m4b 28811-18.spx19, Barchester by Moonlight, 0:24 and 4 seconds. Read by Andy Minter 28811-19.mp3 28811-19.og 28811-19.m4b 28811-19.spx20, Mr. Arabine, 0:29 and 39 seconds. Read by Andy Minter 28811-20.mp3 28811-20.og 28811-20.m4b 28811-20.spx21, St. Ewolds Parsonage, 0:25 and 6 seconds. Read by Andy Minter 28811-20.mp3 28811-20.og 28811-20.m4b 28811-20.spx22, The Thorns of Ullathorne, 0:32 and 24 seconds. Read by Andy Minter 28811-20.mp3 28811-20.og 28811-20.m4b 28811-20.spx23, Mr. Arabine reads himself in at St. Ewolds, 0:23 and 50 seconds. Read by Anita Roydobs 28811-20.mp3 28811-20.org 28811-20.m4b 28811-20.spx24. Mr. Slope manages matters very well at Puddingdale. 0:24 and 2 seconds. Read by Kirsten Ferrari 28811-20.mp3 28811-20.org 28811-20.m4b 28811-20.spx25. 14 arguments in favor of Mr. Quiverful's claims. 0:20 and 13 seconds. Read by Andy Minter 28811-20.mp3 28811-20.org 28811-20.m4b 28811-20.spx26. Mrs. Proudy wrestles and gets a fall. 0:32 and 36 seconds. Read by Eva 28811-20.mp3 28811-20.org 28811-20.m4b 28811-20.spx27. A love scene. 0:40 and 54 seconds. Read by Chesine 28811-20.mp3 28811-20.org 28811-20.m4b 28811-20.spx28. Mrs. Bold is entertained by Dr. and Mrs. Grantley at Plumstead. 0:43 and 18 seconds. Read by Eva 28811-20.mp3 28811-20.org 28811-20.m4b 28811-20.spx29. A serious interview. 0:26 and 19 seconds. Read by Eva 28811-20.mp3 28811-20.org 28811-20.m4b 28811-20.spx30. Another love scene. 0:29 and 3 seconds. Read by Kirsten Ferrari 28811-20.mp3 28811-20.org 28811-20.m4b 28811-20.spx31. The Bishop's Library. 0:13 and 52 seconds. Read by Krithagar 28811-20.mp3 28811-20.org 28811-20.m4b 28811-20.spx32. A new candidate for ecclesiastical honors. 0:35 and 13 seconds. Read by Andy Minter 28811-20.mp3 28811-20.org 28811-20.m4b 28811-20.spx33. Mrs. Proudy Victrix. 0:25 and 56 seconds. Read by Andy Minter 28811-20.mp3 28811-20.org 28811-20.m4b 28811-20.spx34. Oxford. The Master and Tutor of Lazarus. 0:20 and 44 seconds. Read by Andy Minter 28811-20.mp3 28811-20.org 28811-20.m4b 28811-20.spx35. Miss Thorne's feet champiter, 0:22 and 15 seconds. Read by Kirsten Ferrari. 28811-20.mp3 28811-20.oak 28811-20.m4b 28811-20.spx36 Thorne Sports I 0:34 and 36 seconds. Read by Eva. 28811-20.mp3 28811-20.oak 28811-20.m4b 28811-20.spx37 Signora Neronem Countess de Courcy and Mrs. Proudy meet at Thorne, 0:33 and 35 seconds. Read by Eva. 28811-20.mp3 28811-20.oak 28811-20.m4b 28811-20.spx38 The bishop sits down to breakfast, and the dean dies, 0:33 and 2 seconds. Read by Anita Roydobs. 28811-20.mp3 28811-20.oak 28811-20.m4b 28811-20.spx39 The Lookalofts and the Greenacres, 0:26 and 24 seconds. Read by Eva. 28811-20.mp3 28811-20.oak 28811-20.m4b 28811-20.spx40 Thorne Sports Act 2, 0:28 and 54 seconds. Read by Eva. 28811-20.mp3 28811-20.oak 28811-20.m4b 28811-20.spx41 Mrs. Bold confides her sorrow to her friend Miss Stanhope, 0:24 and 4 seconds. Read by Eva. 28811-20.mp3 28811-20.oak 28811-20.m4b 28811-20.spx42 Thorne Sports Act 3, 0:28 and 58 seconds. Read by Kirsten Ferrari. 28811-20.mp3 28811-20.oak 28811-20.m4b 28811-20.spx43 Mr. and Mrs. Quiverful are made happy. Mr. Slope is encouraged by the press. 0:40 and 51 seconds. Read by Eva. 28811-20.mp3 28811-20.oak 28811-20.m4b 28811-20.spx44 Mrs. Bold at home, 0:23 and 31 seconds. Read by Lucy Burgoyne. 28811-20.mp3 28811-20.oak 28811-20.m4b 28811-20.spx45 The Stanhopes at home, 0:26 and 28 seconds. Read by Lucy Burgoyne. 28811-20.mp3 28811-20.oak 28811-20.m4b 28811-20.spx46 Mr. Slope's parting interview with the Signora, 0:25 and 4 seconds. Read by EVA 28811-20.mp3 28811-20.org 28811-20.m4b 28811-20.spx47. The Dean-elect, 0:26 and 12 seconds. Read by EVA 28811-20.mp3 28811-20.org 28811-20.m4b 28811-20.spx48. Miss Thorne shows her talent at matchmaking, 0:26 and 47 seconds. Read by Anita Roydobs 28811-20.mp3 28811-20.org 28811-20.m4b 28811-20.spx49. The Beelzebub Cult, 0:15 and 9 seconds. Read by Anna Samao 28811-20.mp3 28811-20.org 28811-20.m4b 28811-20.spx50. The Archdeacon is satisfied with the state of affairs, 0:16 and 44 seconds. Read by Andy Minter 28811-20.mp3 28811-20.org 28811-20.m4b 28811-20.spx51. Mr. Slope bids farewell to the palace and its inhabitants, 0:21 and 28 seconds. Read by Eva 28811-20.mp3 28811-20.org 28811-20.m4b 28811-20.spx52. The new dean takes possession of the deanery and the new warden of the hospital, 0:18 and 52 seconds. Read by Andy Minter 28811-20.mp3 28811-20.org 28811-20.m4b 28811-20.spx53. Conclusion, 0:10 and 46 seconds. Read by Andy Minter 28811-20.mp3 28811-20.org 28811-20.m4b 28811-20.spx LibriVox audio recording public domain certification. The person or persons who have associated work with this document, the dedicator or certifier, hereby either a. certifies that, to the best of his knowledge, the work of authorship identified is in the public domain of the country from which the work is published, or b. hereby dedicates whatever copyright the dedicators holds in the work of authorship identified below, the work, to the public domain. A certifier, moreover, dedicates any copyright interest he may have in the associated work, and for these purposes, is described as a dedicator below. A certifier has taken reasonable steps to verify the copyright status of this work. Certifier recognizes that his good faith efforts may not shield him from liability if in fact the work certified is not in the public domain. Dedicator makes this dedication for the benefit of the public at large and to the detriment of the dedicator's heirs and successors. Dedicator intends this dedication to be an overt act of relinquishment in perpetuity of all present and future rights under copyright law, whether vested or contingent, in the work. Dedicator understands that such relinquishment of all rights includes the relinquishment of all rights to enforce, by lawsuit or otherwise, those copyrights in the work. Dedicator recognizes that, once placed in the public domain, the work may be freely reproduced, distributed, transmitted, used, modified, built upon, or otherwise exploited by anyone for any purpose, commercial or non-commercial, and in any way, including by methods that have not yet been invented or conceived. Audio formats available: 64-bit MP3, MP3 subfolder 64-bit OGG Vorbis, variable bit rate, OGG subfolder Apple AAC audiobook, 16-bit mono, M4B subfolder Speaks, SPX subfolder.